fuck you.
Great time to hit record.
Yeah.
So, got a group of people here, and we're watching. This is going to be a bunch of pickup fights. On the left is Duke and presently His Royal Highness of the West, Hanze, and on the right is Duke Sean of Artemisia. And these are pickup fights, so we don't know how high up they're amped, if they're working on any particular things, or if they're fighting at the top of their game. These are pickup fights, but, you know, when these two guys square off, you should pay attention, so we're going to. So let's watch the first pass, and then we'll talk about it. There we go. Oh. Okay, so if we go back there, through the exchange, so here we see them set up. I feel like this is just an opener to keep him busy, right? He knows that's not really going to hit. Sean's going to easily pick that up with the corner of his shield, but it lets him step into range, and he gets this nice little teardrop overhead. Like, a lot of guys will throw a teardrop to the side. What it looks to me is Hans is throwing a teardrop, like, up in this area up here. Not a lot of guys do like an overhead teardrop, but he gets that nice recovery with the basket, and now he's getting that follow through. So like a lot of guys, when they throw a teardrop, they're throwing it like the first shot comes here, and then they do a teardrop, and the second shot comes somewhere between here and here, right? Like you see the teardrop to the side, but I think what he's doing is he throws that teardrop high. You don't see that a lot. Now, Sean picks it up anyway.
All right. The first shot isn't what is intended to kill him. The first shot
just an opener.
Well, number one, it's a masking shot so that he can take that step forward, right? Sean is now looks like he does have sight picture on his legs, but the idea is that when he starts, clear this if you would, and back, just touch. So at this point here, this shot gets his shield, forces his shield to be active, but then he's immediately going to roll it around into another snap after he's taken that step. And usually that first step or the first shot just pulls the shield up so that you don't see that step happen.
Yeah, and I think a lot of less experienced fighters than Duke Sean will pull the shield down further,
right?
Because they feel this shield get tabled up here, so they yank it down. And that overcorrection causes them to pull the shield down. Now, Sean, I think, leaves the shield up, which protects him from that second shot. Also, the other thing I'll point out, cheating, Hanze has two swords. You can see it. He's got this sword. He's got multiple swords. He's got a sword here, and he's got a sword there. He's fighting with multiple swords at the same time.
Dirty cheating.
Right? It's like the Matrix. They're bending, see multiple versions of everything. So, okay, so there's that opening sequence. They and you can tell this is why it's a friendly fight. It doesn't continue in the flurry. They square off and they fight again. So, square up, get ready, and here we go. So Sean opens with, I think this is a legitimate opening shot, right? He's aiming for an opening, and Hanze's hand is coming back. So it's opening that sight window, but he raises the corner of the shield, which blocks. And Sean's actually coming up. I don't see his body motion often raise or lower in the few videos I've seen.
So back.
So he gets that dip down and up.
Yes, he's the dip down is.
Is that a fake leg shot? Do you think he's faking the leg shot there?
Yes, I think that I mean Hanze doesn't react to it at all as far as that goes, but that to me right there as
you see
widening his step is automatically bringing his center of gravity lower. Right,
and you think that's feinting the threat to the legs, and Hanze just doesn't bite on it.
Right, Hanze's seen that. He's not gonna. But
so what you're saying is a lesser or different fighter might have dipped,
right,
to block that.
Well, if you watch his arm, as he's coming, he's starting high.
The hand comes down. Yeah, down. that looks like a low shot.
And then,
but Hanze knows better.
Then it comes straight out, forward and up.
Yeah.
And so he's working on changing his levels slightly.
So you think that was a rising snap, in other words?
Yeah.
Okay. Hans read it. Now Hans is throwing the offside instead of the onside leg. But Sean's got the basket hilt there to protect. And now I think what it looks like is Hans is looking for an onside shot, but Sean's shield has come forward enough to kind of shut that down. He's blocking the arm out.
No, he gets that inside body.
Yeah.
On Duke Sean.
Oh, does that land?
Yeah, it lands.
Oh, I thought that hit the
It
basket.
got between the basket hilt and his shield because
Sean says it right there.
Okay, I apologize. I thought Sean got that blocked. Okay, you're right.
Leg switch.
Oops.
Took a half second. Skipped on the placard there a little bit, but then you felt it bite. So let's take a look at that.
Go back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So the skip, and then that beautiful little moulinet. So he throws this out offside. Doesn't really connect with the blade. It's just a feint. Pulls back, and then the sword is in front of the shield. Right, it's right there.
And he's also dipping on his knees. So
He's dipping, and he's got this
gravity.
He's got this weird step here, right? So he's able to throw the body drop, and then the hand whips down, right? So the hand travels on this arc, which throws the point of the sword just past the edge of Hans's shield, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a tight angle to hit, but he finds it, bang, right there.
Right. The other thing that you're seeing, though, also is that whole bending his knees and like you were saying, letting gravity do part of that work for you.
Yeah.
And by bending his knees, part of the power that he's getting is by bringing his body weight down with that shot as it's tucking in.
I think you're right. And the other thing that it's a little difficult to see from this angle, but I think part of the reason that Sean manages to land this is that his sword is actually going away from the camera. And there's very little angle that you have around Hans's shield to be able to do that, but it's not just going to skip off and down. It's cutting in just slightly, which sinks it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I could be able to cut the corner that tightly and still rotate that 5 or 10 or 15 degrees in towards the body.
I think
this motion
he comes from the shield. He's coming down this direction. It allows him to cut in. Whereas if we're here and we're going straight, it's going to go straight down and probably slip off the shield. But because he's here, it can come into the body.
And I think it's a matter of inches, right?
Yes.
Like if it was 2 inches off, it would just slip down Hans's side. But the fact that he's got the angle just right, it bites hard enough that Hans will take it as a hard shot to the body.
Yes. So on one of the fighters we were looking at, or fights we were looking at earlier, they're throwing Milanese and they were draw cutting them.
Right? Yeah, like pulling it through instead of delivering forward.
Whereas Sean in this case, his
hand
arm
comes forward and drives in.
His arm moves from here, pretty much in a straight line down to there, and then the tip whips around.
And it drives into the body as opposed to pulling across.
And pulling back. He pulls back, he hits, and then his blade is pulling back after the impact.
As opposed to pulling back to create the energy.
Right.
Yeah.
And I really feel that if we were looking at this from the front, like from Sean's point of view, you would have very little margin.
Yeah.
It's like 2-3% opportunity to land that.
That's all Sean needs, though. You give him just a little bit, he'll get in there.
Prick.
He just knows shield edges and shield placement so well that he can get in there.
Here's another place. This right here, what you're showing is Hans doing another teardrop in a place that most people don't. You can tell that Sean doesn't think it's going to happen.
Right.
So he throws the first onside leg right there. Well, if you go back a little ways and just run it straight forward. So he throws the first onside leg. Sean blocks it, and then he thinks it's coming high. I have never gotten Sean to move his shield out of my way before.
Yeah.
So that something about that leaning second teardrop. I'm not sure what it was about that second blow to the leg that Sean read wrong. It's probably because he was speaking that deep baritone. Oh, we talked about that one a little bit. So
Oh, cool.
yeah. So this one,
Cool when I grow up.
this is a cool shot.
Well, this whole pass is nice. So we
He
step in.
parries. So that's a weird shot and a weird parry, but it lines Hanze up really well, right? So if you go into the step in, right? So he's got. If you go back a ways.
So here, you see that the shield is rotating slightly, so we don't quite have a perfect, that edge block that we normally goes to the wrap and then drops straight into that Molyneux. And he's getting his power with, pulling with his obliques, and there's a contraction right in here. Wrap high, and it's in there where he's getting some of that.
And the hand is way over across his body, right? Like his hand is far away from the camera to get around that shield edge.
Right.
That's not the place you would normally throw that shot from, but he's pushing it to his left to get past Sean's shield edge.
Right.
So here,
well, this wrap here, Sean reads. He's going high, right? And that's what opens that line up for him.
And the recovery from the wrap doesn't tangle him at all.
Yeah.
Right, there's a sword and a shield there, but he doesn't get tangled up.
Let's go back and watch it. I can't believe we got that.
What
leg
happened?
shot.
We all know that some crazy eye fake happened,
Yes,
right? Like
What just
Sean
happened?
blinked left with his twice. He blinked with his left eye twice, and then with his right eye once, and then he wiggled his nose 3 times, and that's what happened.
He didn't do anything! He didn't even do anything! He didn't even move!
These are things that are not caught on camera, right? So
Shenanigans.
first off, Hanze's shield is his point is out, right? And he knows it. He's well aware of his shield position. But Sean has done something to freeze him up there. Like, we can't tell what it is.
Look, it's coming. His shield actually comes up like he's blocking his eyes. I think my guess is that he's seen. Remember earlier in the set, we watched him throw that one where he had the body fake or the body drop, and they came up high.
More into that though. I think there was an eye fake here. I really think there was an eye fake or a hand fake.
Something.
If you go back, look at Sean's sword position. Wait, that little wiggle there? I think that's probably what did it.
He blew him a kiss.
Do you think it was a blown kiss?
But I don't really see anything coming back up my guess is that
there is something.
In the first pass, he sunk a little bit.
Right.
This time he doesn't even do that.
witchcraft.
But it's not bad.
Witchcraft.
It's not witchcraft. There is an eye fake. There was a sneeze. There was a blink. There was a slight rotation of the sword. And if you go back, and I know we're joking, but if you go back, he does a little bobble. Look at the tip of the... So if you got to do it linear, otherwise we're not going to be able to tell. But if you just go straight forward really slowly, you see a sword wobble. That right there, and another one, and another. So that... And we can't really tell if the tip is kicking to Sean's right. We can't really tell from this angle, but there is something freezing Hanze up. I have tried to just throw a leg shot on it.
Well,
It doesn't work. You can't just walk up and throw a leg shot, right? There's something there, we just can't see it.
It might have just been respect for Sean. He might have thought he was gonna, because you see a shield pump a little bit, so he might have thought he was gonna come for a rising snap. And thinking
Also, Sean has wicked angles on his sword that you can't even tell. He knows exactly where your shield edge is, and he'll throw so that the sword is equal to the shield edge and just graze it for your leg.
You get 2 degrees.
And so he might have thought he had the block, too.
So here we see
It's a great. I want to be able to do this to people when I'm legged.
Bam.
On to that teardrop again,
And then he goes
and then
to the
that
belly.
offside. Just like that wrap, he goes from the same position to that offside cut. I want to know, and the good news is you can just ask him, where's he getting the body mechanics to land that? And it even hits the shield.
It's where he drops he's dropping his knee to give that power, but then he also contracts. I think he's contracting, like Helgi was saying.
You know, I think you're right, but after having spoke with him just a couple weeks ago, I bet there's all sorts of weird body mechanics we don't know about. Because he does weird stuff. Like, really cool stuff, but it's not normal.
He got Sean in the belly again.
You both have had hernia surgeries. Don't do it again.
Oof.
Ooh. Nice.
That's classic Sean.
Doom. He's gonna
And look at
take
it,
the
down, up, and then just that perfect angle.
Yep.
I don't know what you say to that other than that's how you do that.
That's how that's done.
Block with the last quarter inch of your shield.
So yeah, it starts off Molyneux feint to there.
Yeah.
And
And
then,
then
he
it
rolls,
turns into an opening snap on
Yeah.
the lunge.
Yeah.
But when he throws it, he's still perfectly balanced over his front leg.
Right.
He's not leaning for it.
He's not
His balance right there is dead on.
right.
He also has a much more mobile shield than most people. There's an offside body cut right there.
Molyneux. Again, this is Sean's bread and butter. These are, the lines that he loves to attack, especially you throw on the low line.
I love his block with his sword and his shield just to get that placement so that he can then throw it down. So he's well blocked,
Yeah.
and then he throws.
He's already in position to throw,
Yeah.
There's that teardrop again.
Yep.
It's fast.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Can we go back? Actually, I'd love to. Can we go back and see Hans's teardrop? I want to see how far he pulls his hand back to throw that teardrop to generate power on that second shot. So he throws out full range, recovers just to the point of his shield.
But look, he recovers
He's
back,
stepping and he's
and
dropping.
now the tip is all the way back behind him, so he's recovered to there.
Yeah.
So the tip definitely makes a full 180
It's because
degrees.
he's moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's moving forward, he doesn't have to reset all the way back because his body is resetting for him.
Can I grab that for a second? This is one of those interesting things. So, like, one of the pieces of feedback I get is like, we're not in the SCA, but we'd like to understand what you guys are saying more. So, he throws this first shot, and the question is like, how do you deliver two shots so quickly? So he throws. Did I get lost?
I think so.
Yeah, I think I'm going the wrong way.
Oh, God.
Oh, this is so terrible. Never give me. Okay, save me, Helgi.
I'm not sure where we were at. All right, we're going forward from here.
We're doing it. Never mind.
Okay, we saw that.
Okay, we went backwards a long ways.
One more pass.
So the thing about the teardrop return is that it's called that because the tip of the sword travels in the shape of a teardrop. So if you just go back right there, that was it. If you go back and just draw on the screen with the green the green arrow, the path of the sword.
Well, this has a slight, it's rotating slightly in the vertical plane. It's about a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
You can see where it's impacting against the shield, right? This is mostly just to get his shield moving, right?
Yeah.
And he comes to there.
But he throws that teardrop so fast.
Yes, he does. And he's actually really well covered
Yeah, his basket is covering his defense on that side.
Covering the center line, which is going to block, everything except a wrap. That line.
The only thing he's open to right now is the onside leg and the onside leg wrap. And he can just drop the shield for it.
Very skippy. We can see that again when this shot lands, right? That is just the tip right across, and it doesn't stop, doesn't bounce back. That's one of the things that we want to see. When you see a good shot, the shot will hit and it will bounce back in the same plane that it came in at. And when you don't see that, that's one of the indicators that you didn't hit square to your target, right?
So sneaky.
Witchcraft.
That's some sneaky shit.
Molyneux.
Witchcraft.
So again, when we talk about coming in and taking targets, Sean throws that shot.
Moves
He's recovering. Now he's recovered, and this is the point.
And so he sees the onside headshot. That's what he's blocking. He's blocking the snap to the head right now.
But and Hansa's respecting the head, and now this is where he chooses his target.
Late,
right?
yeah, late. And there's only so many people in the world who can do that. Sean is on that list.
All right, but
this
is one of those ideas, though, is that he's not throwing a combo, a Molyneux to the leg, to a leg snap.
He's looking for openings at every moment.
He throws that shot.
I throw this. Okay, what's open?
He's covering his lines. He's
what's
back.
Open? What's open?
Now he's.
Oh, I see an opening.
Right. There's a thing in a lot of martial arts that we go for position before submission. This is Sean stepping in and letting the fight develop, right, and then choosing his target.
So we talked about this. He tried to teach me this. I don't know if I'm just too slow or perhaps too stupid. But Duke Sean talks about the offensive mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about how when you step into the close range where everyone has all of their targets available, this is something he asked me to work on, is to evaluate what's available to you and make the right decision to throw the blow for the openings that are there and the offense that your opponent is throwing. And the offensive mindset is then to say your aggressive behavior is probably going to offer you the defense you need to survive whatever your opponent's doing. The challenge is, I'm kind of slow and stupid. I need time to deliberate. So when I watch something at like 1/30th speed, I could say, oh look, Duke Hans is open. But when it's happening at speed, I'm just thinking, oh God, stay alive. And like somehow Sean sees things frame by frame. Like he walks in and he's like, oh, I see the leg. I believe I will throw for the leg now.
Right, but one of the things that I see, especially in new fighters, is the tendency to throw combos.
This is what I'm going to throw. I'm going to set it on it ahead.
Right, I'm going to throw these 3 blows in suggestion because it's going to move their shield this way, this way, this way, without actually looking and seeing whether or not their shield moves that way. Right, and when you get up to the especially the high end, right, you're not going to they're not going to show you the same blocks, right? They have multiple ways of blocking the same shot, right? So, you're by throwing a preset combo, you're patterning yourself.
Yeah.
And you're telling them this is what I like to throw, and that then gives Sean the opening to read it. I mean, both of these guys are right at that. the top end of our game. So, I when I think of this mindset, I always think of it as you throw a shot, and every shot we talked about earlier that it doesn't end. The shot doesn't end when at the point when it lands against its target. It ends when it gets back to its recovered position.
Recovered.
Right, and so I think of a combo when in its simplest form as a shot recovered to a block, and then going into another shot. And if that block doesn't catch a block, it's still in that position, and then I can look. And by taking that time to recover into the block, that's when I'm doing my target recognition, right? That's when I'm sitting there and looking at what But if I'm going straight into another shot, I'm not taking that opportunity to see what is actually coming open.
So I agree with you. At the same time, I want to challenge you on something. So we're looking at two top-tier fighters here. And I would say that they don't both always do that every time, right? So we were talking just earlier about how Hans has a really quick teardrop onside shot, or a highline shot to a teardrop to another highline shot.
Right.
Though neither of those instances where we said that's really impressive, and he throws 2 shots in the time it takes most people to throw 1, but he's not recovering to a block. So
you're right. He is not recovering to a block.
So I think this is a place where these two fighters, both high-tier fighters, have a different philosophy and different approach. And they're not necessarily both recovering to a guarded position between every blow thrown. Now, I would say they both can, and it's a trade-off, in this case, that Hans is making to say, I'm going to throw 2 rapid blows because I think my opponent's going to move his guard out of the way, or they're fast enough, it's not going to leave me open long enough, or if it does, I'm going to have my shield there.
Yeah. So but Hanza does do this. I mean, we'll watch some of these. See, there, this combo.
He does it there, absolutely.
Offside, right?
Guard.
Where he's in his guard. Where are my targets? Leg, and he's got. Sean gets the shield down, and now he's he's recovered. Now he's doing his target acquisition again. Where's it open? He's leg. And back high, he recovers immediately into that high line block.
Yeah, agreed.
So I think they're both doing this type of target recognition, but they do it slightly differently.
Yeah.
That hurt.
That hurt us too much, bro.
Stupid Sean. You're not supposed to be able to.
His head like,
You're not supposed to be able to reach that from there. I feel like we should watch that. Just this one angle right here.
This is one of.
so disgusting. So awesome.
So that's between the sword and the shield.
Yeah.
And it's this crank. It's a little hard to tell because, I don't think Artemisia has the same, you need neon-colored tape on the blade, but, that is a very narrow gap to hit.
Yeah.
You've been practicing.
Both these guys practice a lot.
And honestly, one of the things that is really cool is it's not doing a set like this is awesome when you get to, but when you get to do sets over the course of 6 months or a year or multiple years against these type of guys,
you can see how their fights change against each other.
Right. You get
because they've trained it. Look at that cross block. Neither of those guys were throwing a shot. They were both blocking.
It's like, I think you got my inside thigh, and then you got my ass.
Why would you do that?
So, if we go back and just talk about the mechanics involved there. So, Hanze was probably taking the first shot. So this one, the hand is high behind the shield, right? This tight sort of... You see this a lot with the guys from the sort of the Midwest. This sort of guard here, right?
Yeah, kind of A-frame-ish.
A-frame-ish, but the hands are almost together. Mm-hmm. And this area looks like a target. It's not.
Yeah.
Right? Not with Sean. But it's sort of just a setup. And you see how mobile the shield is. Like, see how I would love to fight with Sean's shield a couple times. Just to see how he's got it strapped. Because you can see there's a ton of mobility in the shield.
I can show you pictures.
After you've taken photos? Of course you have. Helgi, I love you for that.
So, you see how his foot moved? His left foot moves to the left.
And
right
it's
there.
and it's
he got me with that at Great West, and he showed that to me because that changes the angle on that, just that enough.
0.2 degrees.
I have a bruise on the inside of my thigh from that shot that he hits Hanze on. And it is really just that subtle. I mean, it's not that big of a step. It is a very small
just
step.
like
when you get to this level, feints are tiny motions. You know,
and that, see how close he is to the shield?
Tiny are tiny steps. You
Yeah.
don't need big steps. Are motions that are easy to see, right? They're easy to detect. Tiny changes like that are really hard to actually see that there's actually a positional change happening.
So he stepped from here to here.
Yeah.
Which
It kind of throws up
gave
into
him
the thigh.
And you can actually tell. You can see the angle on the hand is sort of that sort of angle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that little step goes from here.
He also does that little waggle with the
Yeah.
shield. That's another one.
That little bobble thing I was talking about, how mobile his shield is.
Yeah.
So you don't even necessarily know what's going on. Like, oh, is his shield feeling awkward? Maybe he doesn't know how to use a shield. I'm not sure. And then there's that scoop.
I wonder if that,
I'm gonna think that the next time I see it.
I
Maybe he doesn't know
wonder
what
if
he's
that
doing.
distracts from his foot movement, too, because if you waggle a shield, where's your eyes going? Where the movement is, and that's more dramatic than that foot.
And then the other thing is, like, in SEA fighting, for folks watching this who don't know about SEA fighting, you're not allowed to strike in the knee or 2 inches above the knee. So there's the knee, there's 2 inches above the knee, there's Sean's sword, right? Like, very little margin for error in what he's doing, but when you look at the blade, it's completely perpendicular with the thigh. Like, that's gonna land.
Yeah.
Right? That's gonna... There's not a lot of people with the ability to do that, and that's why we're watching this video.
That bruise lasted a week and a half, so it was with impact.
We're talking about the one on you, or
Yeah, the
do you
one
have
that
do you have
Duke saw.
do you have special information about His Highness's thighs?
Duke Sean hit me in the thigh.
Oh, we're talking about your
Lasted
thighs.
lasted a week and a half with the exact same shot.
What time is it?
Exact same shot.
All right, let's finish up this set.
It's 12 o'clock. Yeah, we gotta get going.
Yeah. I have to work tomorrow. This is too much fun, though.
Yeah, I could do this all night.
They're just all man crush on all these dukes. That was a cool shot. Ooh,
Oh.
there it was.
Oh.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Big
Oh. All right. Because I think we could talk about that last pass for another 20 minutes.
of video.
Yeah, okay.
We're already at 35 minutes.
another
Here's the
40
rule.
minutes.
We're going to do this in slow-mo, and whoever shouts the loudest gets to talk, all right? But we're going to set it in slow-mo, and we're just going to let it run,
Jesus Christ.
all right? Because there was a lot of good shit there. We're just going to let this run.
Oh, my gosh.
He's saying, I would like a pillow, please.
All you're gonna hear from me this whole time is, oh!
Hanze's bobbing up and down. It totally makes Sean think about everything.
Well, Sean's bobbing up and down. He just did that little drop.
And he's setting, look, he's dropped the point of his shield down.
There's-
It's a bait, and now he's flipping his shield out. Yeah.
There's the little waggle.
They're both posturing.
But it's trying to
He's
see
cutting for that
how-
moulinet.
How each person is
I can't believe he got that teardrop moulinet to the hip and it landed.
offside the Molineys.
Sean got it. Now, Hans leaned out just enough.
There.
Not
Now
quite
he's-
high enough.
And that he's getting himself a little off balance there.
And Sean fights with that wide heater. I think that wide heater is a good move. I gotta get one of those.
Oh.
Oh, that deep offside.
Armpit.
Just looking like it just like...
The slow motion.
We're just gonna stop right there. That.
Yep, right.
So they're both throwing the same shot. The difference is just a matter of degrees.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Right? So Sean's shot is just a little more blocked. He's got the top edge of the shield covering it. And so Sean's using the body to get the lean. And His Highness Hans is using the head to lean. And the head doesn't move the armpit further away. So you can see Duke Sean's shot just cleared the corner of the shield.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Just... Oh, it's not working. Just there. Just cleared the corner. And then you can see here, Duke Sean moved the shield instead of the head and caught it with the top edge of the shield. This was margin. This was very, very margin. The other thing that you'll see is that Sean's arm is further forward. I'm not sure if that's what helps. I'm not good at this shot, but Hans's arm is not quite as far forward. So that helps the angle a little bit, I think. Anyway, good stuff.
Fucking monkey arms.
Let's all try to be more like these guys. Thank you, gentlemen.